Yes. Welcome in. It's Balloon Party, 101 ESPN. My name's Tim McKernan. That's Jackson Burkett. And for the next hour, Jackson has questions that will provoke thought and discussion. And what are those questions called?
Today, it's called Little Pills Presents The Weekend Warriors, A Midday Conquest.
Nice.
Isn't
I like
it?
that.
Isn't it nice?
And how many queries have you prepared for the audience of 101 ESPN and our friends in the YouTube chat?
6.
6 questions.
6 questions. 6 topics. 6 ideas. And where it goes from there, you never know. But that's why you listen. That's why you clock in early. That's why you leave late.
Yeah, that's why you're the one to turn the lights on. You're the one to turn the lights off. It's why you do the extra set. It's why you do the extra reps. It's why you do the extra sprints. It's for a moment like this, like John Gray says. Happy Monday. Good morning, Tim and JB. You like being called JB?
Yeah, it's fine. I don't mind that. I've never minded JB.
Droid Effect says my round of golf went pretty well for my first time.
Oh, nice. First time out there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember my first time playing an actual golf course. It's kind of,
You always have played log cabin.
Yeah, never, but that wasn't the fray. I had to cut my teeth a little bit before I got there. It's probably Ruth Barker, probably my first round ever.
Let's see. It was a good weekend for golf, says MD 2020. I hit a 250-yard drive, says Droid Effects.
Nice.
Playing the first time. That's pretty good.
Really
Droid
good.
Effects.
Really good.
This guy's a natural talent. You need to shape him, Jackson.
I'm not the person.
You're not the one to shape?
I'm not the person to mold.
You can text into the program, 314-399-9646, and, of course, the YouTube chat. Get involved in the YouTube chat. I'm going in there right now. I want to talk with the people. Got a new episode of Stupiracy up, by the way. Me and Riz. Episode 2. Title of Episode 2, Jackson, Sickles Cucking.
Oh, I know it. I'm looking
Sickles
forward to listening. Looking forward to listening to that.
So that is up for your viewing pleasure. The production that they did here at Hubbard Radio is outstanding on Stupiracy. It's a combination of stupid history and conspiracy theories with me and Riz from The Riz Show on 105.7 The Point. Jackson, let's go with question 1. Oh, you're Jackson sipping his Folgers.
That's right. Nothing better waking up than Piddles in your cup.
Nice.
Cardinals finish out the weekend with a series split with Cincinnati, and in the 2 wins, they scored a combined 3 runs, but allowed none, which I find interesting. As we charge into the second half of the baseball season, what are things to monitor when it comes to the trade deadline? At this point, there are certain buyers, the Cardinals, but what are they buying with? Who's next month do you think is crucial when you talk trade pieces and trade packages? Is Tommy Edman anybody anymore? Nootbaar? Are there any young players who could serve as value if the month goes a certain way? What do you make of it?
Well, it's going to be intriguing to see how it plays out over the next 4 weeks, Jackson, as the trade deadline approaches and the Cardinals have a 2-game lead in the wild card standings, and what direction this franchise will take as they want to remain relevant, all while probably deep down knowing that they're not necessarily one of the best teams in baseball. Oddly enough, the Cardinals lost with their top 2 starters.
Right.
And won with Lance Lynn beating Hunter Green.
Palante.
And Palante. And considering where the game was with Sonny Gray, the Cardinals were probably substantial favorites if you were live betting that at the time.
Yeah.
And then it got away.
Yeah, weird inning. And then, got none of my boy John King.
I felt like there was a lot of hype on the Brendan Donovan catch that ended the game, but I didn't feel like it was just a long flyout. Like a great catch to win a game. I think of like Edmonds flying around at the Matter of Opinion Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. Like, that was a great catch. Like, the ball just didn't go anywhere, and I think damn near every outfielder in baseball, minus Marcelo Zuna, who would have climbed the wall, makes that catch. So I didn't think it was that big of a deal. But am I downplaying it?
I think a little.
Really?
I think a little. I
don't get it. It was this there. I don't think it was that, like... I don't think it was like a robbery.
I think had it been hit with a little bit lower launch angle, it would have probably gone out. But if it would have been like Donovan sprinting and at the last second leaping and catching it, it'd be like, since he kind of stood at the warning track for a second, it didn't have the same amount of like fire in it.
Right, but I don't think he like had to like get mad rise in order to catch it.
Not mad, but you know, you have to. listen, I can't speak too much because I'm one of the worst outfielders in human history, so I can't judge a fly ball, so I have all respect. But for a pro baseball player, yeah, not the craziest catch, but given 1-0 game where you score in a really weird way, and for it to end like that ball might get out, but it didn't.
Right. I'm not talking about the circumstance. I'm talking about like the catch wasn't that big of a catch.
In a vacuum, yeah, I wouldn't say that
But I wanted to see if I was downplaying it. I think like defensively, it wasn't that big of an accomplishment. I think if he wouldn't have caught it, he would have been like, "Oh my God, I blew it."
Yeah, agreed on that. Okay. I think in the vacuum, just looking at the catch,
Ciani's had 10 catches that were better than that in the last month. I feel like.
Oh my God, yeah, he's outstanding defensively. I think in a vacuum, the catch itself wasn't crazy, like probably not top 10, but given everything around it. Exciting, especially in a game that lacked excitement, like true excitement, outside of, again, one sacrifice to the shortstop.
Yes, to the shortstop.
Ellie De La Cruz showing off that big arm.
Yeah, a very unique way of scoring. So the Cardinals' day off today, a welcome day off today before dealing with the irate Pirate.
Pirates are pretty good. Are we going to get another Paul Skeens appearance in St. Louis this week? I'm going to look up probable pitchers. Tell me I do it live on the air because that's how we like to do it. Tomorrow's Mitch Keller. Wednesday's Jared Jones. We will not. It does not seem we will get a Paul Skeens appearance here in the great state of St. Louis. So no standing ovation.
Great state of St. Louis.
Great city, I should say.
That's
great
all
state
right.
of Missouri.
Hey, you don't have to apologize for calling it the great state of St. Louis.
I probably have to apologize for my questions.
Oh, no. Hold on a second. What just happened?
No, they're...
And for the record, they're on the road.
Oh, that's what I meant.
Maybe that's why you called it the great state of St. Louis, because they're going to be in Pittsburgh.
Right. Well, Pittsburgh's always felt like a second home. You know, I have a real kinship to Pittsburgh and the Allegheny River. So
many rivers to choose from.
Right, 3 of them. So that's probably why I messed up there.
Right.
And plus, when it's a Cardinal game, because of the fans, it feels always like a home game because they fill up the stadiums.
I feel like right there you're trying to placate the audience.
It feels like I popped the Achilles out of the start here. In the Olympics, do you get a second try at breakfast ball?
I think they do. Yeah, breakfast ball.
Yeah, breakfast ball.
If you have a bad race, they say go ahead and give her another whirl. Hey, how about this? The Fast Lane will once again square off against the Riz Show from 105.7 The Point at this year's Softball Home Run Derby, hosted by the O'Fallon Hoots on Saturday, July 27th at Carshield Field in O'Fallon, Missouri. There'll be a fast pitch home run derby that night featuring Ricky Ankiel, Brian Jordan, and more MLB alumni. General admission tickets are on sale now for just $15, brought to you by Swiss Air Heating and Cooling, Faster House, and Zwickau Light. Get all the details on this year's O'Fallon Hoots Home Run Derby now at 101ESPN.com. So that is taking place on Saturday, July 27th at Carshield Field in O'Fallon, Missouri, and it's brought to you by Swiss Air Heating and Cooling, Faster House, and Zwickau Light. Get more details, 101ESPN.com. All right, Jackson, we will have the 5 questions for the midday radio weekend warriors.
More or less.
Okay. Coming up, and your texts are welcome at 314-399-9646. Plus, the YouTube chat is active as the day is long, and it is great to see the fine folks in there talking it over, like Eric Cleveland, John Scores, and John Fitzgerald, all talking with droid effects about his 250-yard drive. And then DJ Patty Cakes, who's a great player, and says definitely get fitted. I played for 2 years before getting fitted, got down to 85. 85's a lot of pops.
Yeah, geez. 8 pops aside.
Then got fitted, and it was like starting all over again. My clubs were an inch too short.
I would say the first thing you should always do in golf is get lessons. Because you could get fitted, but if you're in an improper stance, if you're all messed up that way, then you're getting fitted incorrectly. Get a lesson, like establish like a natural swing.
Nice. This is Jackson Burkett. He went to school for golf, everybody, at Florida Gulf Coast University.
Anytime I hear someone tell me who's like above a 10 or 15 handicap, even myself, like they're like, oh, I'm thinking about getting a new driver. I was like, how about a lesson? And I'm not saying that to be like demeaning. I'm saying like you have like a lesson will increase your game, make you so much better if you practice, especially afterwards, than just getting a new driver. A new driver will add 8 yards to your slice.
It's not the tools, it's the carpenter?
A lesson can totally change your golf game, drop real strokes, and then you can start purchasing more equipment based on that. But I always just buy a lesson. Always get a lesson. Even the pros get lessons. It's not, you don't.
Butch Harmon.
I had a buddy who was like, I'll never take a lesson. I'll teach myself.
Really?
I was like, what do you, who are you doing this for? Just be better. I was like, you just blew your drive into the woods here. Who are you trying to impress? Get a lesson. If you really want to play.
Jackson just gave out some counsel. I like that. And I think it's good counsel, too.
Yeah,
there you go, Troy FX. You've been given counsel. YouTube chat, active as a day is long. 116 people, and they're talking it over. Be one of them. YouTube.com and 101 ESPN, or, of course, the YouTube app, 101 ESPN, and 101 ESPN's app is where you can listen to this program along with 100,000 watts of FM glory.
Yep.
This is Balloon Party, 101 ESPN. Welcome back. 101 ESPN. Tim McKernan with you until 11 o'clock. That's Jackson Bennett Burkett. And he's got the midday radio weekend warrior recap on Balloon Party here today. And you are welcome to participate in the discussion. 314-399-9646, Air Comfort Service text line. And the YouTube chat is just it is active. It's like a family in there, Jackson.
It is. A nice little community.
Friends of the Feather. DJ Patty Cakes is in there talking it over along with MD 2020 and Tiny PP. The Don is in there, so you get to kiss the ring of the Don.
Hi, Don. Good to see you.
Yeah, it is good to see you.
On a weekend like this, and then,
It's a 3-day work week.
Yeah, gorgeous. For some, gorgeous day today. I hope people are out there enjoying the sunshine.
My wife is taking my older son to Six Flags today.
Oh, my God. That sounds lovely.
I am going to watch our younger son.
Nice.
While she goes and what's your Mount Rushmore of roller coasters at Six Flags? Mount Rushmore season.
Couldn't be more glad you asked. The Boss.
I think it's a great roller coaster. It's a penal roller coaster, though. It's going to put demand to the test.
It's going to put your L7 vertebrae on notice.
But you're going to get a lot of rush.
A lot of rush. They're really scary when you creep up because there's no room on the sides.
Oh, Bill, you could be going overboard.
It really scares me. Screaming Eagle.
Screaming Eagle.
Similar. The scary part of that, it seems like the bolts might come undone on the roller coaster.
And it seems like every time I'm there, at some point, it gets stuck as you're climbing the big hill.
Yeah, you just pray you're not the patron who's on there.
Yeah.
Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze is 3. Now, what is going to be the 4th one?
A lot of people want me to say the Batman. There's a lot of people
that it hasn't been named.
There's a lot of people out there right now saying the Batman, the Batman.
I think many would say Batman's George Washington.
I
think my wife is probably texting in. I think my wife texts in as Tiny Peepee.
I don't love the Batman. I don't love the Batman.
I think that's more insulting than your Blues takes and your anti-Lake of the Ozarks takes.
So I think it's cool that you sit down on your feet are dangling. I find that aspect interesting.
My legs are so short that they don't dangle. It's like I'm just sitting there.
You tuck them in?
No, they just are so short that they don't even go over the seat.
You're saying they're just flat onto the... It's a wonderful image. But the problem I have with the Batman is once it gets going and you're doing it, you can't see anything. You can only see the people in front of you because you're not in an open roller coaster car where you can see the sunshine around you. It's just you're kind of locked in. And I don't love it's also really loud, really loud. It's
like a Sibian, right?
It sounds like people are taking carriers off of a ship. It sounds like a longshoreman is moving crates.
You wouldn't know anything about manual labor.
Yeah, I got city hands. What's up, Quint? And so if I'm not going to go that one, do they still have the Superman thing where you go up in the air, you're sitting, and then it drops you randomly? I really like that one. I like that one. The Superman, I think, is what it's called.
All right, fair enough.
I'm going to go with that one. I know, and people are going to be upset because
people are very angry.
I don't like the ninja. I don't like the ninja.
Of course he doesn't like American Thunder.
I like American Thunder, but there's a really sharp turn in that one, and you could lose a tooth. I'm just saying. You could
Is that
lose
the
a
old
tooth.
Evel Knievel one?
Yeah. Yep. It's fun, but there's one really sharp drop on there, and I almost lose my tooth every time.
My, at the time, 5-year-old, now 6, the one that's going with my wife today, wanted to go on that thing over and over again, and I'm sitting there going, I kind of want to tap out.
Yeah.
But yet he just kept, I'm going, oh my goodness.
It's impressive.
I guess, but I'm the one riding on there, and I'm going, this thing.
Yeah. It's the Mr. Freeze I like because it's such a smooth ride, and it's really ice cold in that area they have you wait.
Superman was removed 3 years ago.
Rats. Did they really? That's a shame. Damn it. All right. I won't go flume because then you have to walk around in wet clothes like an idiot for the rest of the day.
I don't think too many people consider the log flume to be a roller coaster.
No. Probably not. You're right. A roller coaster, it's a ride. It's not a roller coaster.
Right, but it is just Mount Rushmore of roller coasters at Six Flags.
All right, then I'll put American Thunder in there.
American Thunder's
over
on
Batman.
there.
Over Batman, yeah. I just don't like the Batman. I don't like having to stare straight ahead of you and you can't see anything.
As far as getting the kids involved in roller coasters, kind of like mini mites for hockey, the old mine train is wonderful.
Right.
But for me, Jackson, and I'm a South City, what am I thinking of? Meat and potatoes.
Right. And point at me while you do it.
I'm going Screaming Eagle, Boss, Mr. Freeze, and Batman. And that, by the way, is the right answer.
Okay.
It's objective.
We have similar lists.
It's objective.
The Boss and the Screaming Eagle are by far my favorite. Like I love.
You like a good old wooden coaster.
I do, because it's based on speed. I like going fast on the roller coasters.
Well,
I like
you're
the
not
drops.
like going 20 miles an hour on Batman.
No, but it's once you get after the first
Sounds
drop.
like you don't like going upside down.
No, I do. I like the Mr. Freeze go upside down. The Mr.
What about
Freeze.
the corkscrew?
I hate the Ninja because of that.
The corkscrews?
Yeah, it hurts your head. And then there's a bar. People know this. There's a bar on the Ninja when you're finishing the ride that looks like you are going to get your head decapitated.
Well, that's one of the thrills of it.
Not for me. I like this. I like the Screaming Eagle where it seems like the coaster might break at the seams at any moment.
Droid Effects is in lockstep with me. That just doesn't surprise me. We're both long hitters off the tee. And so, of course, we're going to be locked in. It's called Sit in the Front of Batman. That's from Travis George.
If you can get in the front, then that would be better, because then you're not staring at just the car in front of you. That's all you see.
Ooh, cats and dogs, cats and dogs. The issue for me is I'm not tall enough to ride that one.
Right.
So I watch it on YouTube to experience it.
But like, doesn't someone, maybe your father, like crouch down and have you stand up? You wear like a trench coat.
I do. That's exactly right. You've seen me at Six Flags.
It's 99 degrees out, but this guy's wearing a trench coat, of course.
Yeah, why wouldn't he be? Jackson, what is next on the Little Piddles Weekend Warriors for Midday Radio questions?
Free agency for hockey starts in 34 minutes.
Yeah, what do you think?
Scramble around the Blues get rid of Kevin Hayes.
Yeah.
So clearly they're going to need to get somebody up in that middle, right? And Kapanen's not going to stick around. Will they?
Do you hear Mike Ryder just yell at you?
Will they? I can't hear. Oh, he's yelling at Tim. Okay.
He's yelling at me?
I don't know. Kasberry Kapanen.
Yes.
Rank your favorite hockey players.
You brought him up on TMA, and I didn't know.
Well, because I think he might be the George Washington.
They've re-signed.
Kasberry?
But you brought it up earlier on TMA, and I was like, did you know something?
No. Well, I was kicking around the idea of Mount Rushmore of hockey players whose names sound like breakfast cereal, and Kasberry Kapanen would be right up there.
You know what? We'll take anything we can get.
Yeah, right, exactly. But I was wondering, because I saw this report on Saturday, a lot of calls in the Kachuk.
So JR reported this on Saturday because he's on Golden Ponding because he just tweeted it like 2 seconds ago.
I'm off. Did I just nail the Kasberry Kapanen thing?
Yes, that's what my thing is.
Oh, I had no idea. No, I was just saying things.
So when you brought up Kasberry Kapanen and the Blues on TMA, like at 9 o'clock, out of nowhere, by the way, I was surprised you knew the gentleman.
Well, I read his name.
Okay, you didn't know anything. You were just like, I'm going to name a hockey player.
Well, because he sounds like a breakfast.
And now he's newsworthy.
Him and Snuggeroo. Those are my two favorite names. No, I brought it up
Snipes.
because I was frustrated by I could go for 3 hours by myself on what's going on in the Eastern Conference in terms of free agency moves.
Oh wow, what do you think the Red Wings and the Rangers?
Hoop rock. And I find
as in the NBA.
Yeah, I find there's actually some really I could really go deep on some of that stuff and some of the thought processes
Is this
going
on
on.
you and Rocky on the podcast you're doing?
No, it's just gonna be in my own mind. Instead, we're gonna talk about Kevin Hayes and Kasberry Kapanen.
Oh my.
No, I had
right there.
But
Right
I had
it's like I got to talk about Kevin Hayes and I got to talk about Kapanen, even though apparently you broke the story somehow.
Somehow, yeah. I just like the name. I had something that I saw on Saturday that there was a lot of calls into the Kachuk camp, but not the Matthew Kachuk camp, the Brady Kachuk camp.
Well, I would assume it's not the Matthew Kachuk camp. Yeah, the Blues and Stars got listed by incarcerated Bob.
That's right.
You like that incarcerated Bob?
Some people get really upset when we reference him, right?
Boy, I'm learning more things about.
Oh yeah, it was a whole
different avenues of hatred.
It was a whole thing when Ali Marmol might have been on the hot seat. I don't know.
Okay,
but we whatever.
All right.
Blues, Brady Kachuk, possible interest. Given their current situation and the price tag, it's someone like Brady commands. Will a move like adding him go against what you believe to be the Blues' mindset going forward?
No, I don't see that as that way. I don't see that as that way. I was right when I saw that on Saturday. I texted with my compadre, former TMA producer, the Nonling.
Yep.
And his opinion, because the Devils were listed as one of the original teams to be in the mix, formerly the Kansas City Scouts. New Jersey has the most bullets to fire here and stay competitive from a hockey perspective. They have quite a surplus of premium near-ready defensive prospects. Ottawa would have to get better now and in the future for this to make sense. Otherwise, why trade for a 30-year-old goalie a week ago? Could theorize that it was to entice Brady to stay, and it didn't work. From Ottawa's perspective, they still wouldn't want to make the trade then flip philosophies, the result would still likely have to be the same. No idea if Brady is or would be driving this. On one hand, it makes perfect sense. On the other hand, that's been the rumor for a while, and there's been little evidence to back it up. That said, the Kachuk family has been great at A, dictating their situations, and B, keeping it absolutely quiet. I don't know that St. Louis could win a bidding war against Jersey or Philly unless those teams just are not willing, and it's hard to picture Dallas being serious contenders here. That is his analysis of Brady Kachuk and the Blues.
So let's play out the hand and say
Let's play it out.
Blues acquire Brady Kachuk.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think fan expectations for next season go?
I don't know. I think expectations go up, but I think excitement goes up like exponentially.
Sure, I agree.
So,
but do you think the mindset of like, well, it might be 25 or 26 before real competition begins?
no, I think that in people's minds expedites it.
Okay.
Here's the issue, though. You know what I say, Jackson? I want you to listen to this because you're so young. I can still shape your life.
Turning on my headphones.
In order to get, you've got to give. In order to get, you got to give.
Yeah.
So some of the players who Blues fans at the moment may be optimistic about in 25 or 26 would likely be heading to Canada's capital in order to get Brady Kachuk. So in order to get, you got to give. Think about that.
Right. So that's kind of along like the timeline that they have in their mind right now.
CODB, cost of doing business, Jackie Papers.
It certainly would change, though, because you're bringing some of those young talent, sending them up, bringing Brady down. Might change people's idea of the timeline. I'm not sure if it will translate in that way. Like, I'm not positive that just bringing in Brady Kachuk changes everything.
I think part of, and I'm not saying that this is right or wrong, I just think that this is kind of the way that it is, and I might be incorrect on this, is that one of the pieces of arithmetic for franchises' perceived success is star power. So, for example, the Cardinals are objectively a playoff team right now.
Yes.
Now, they wouldn't be in a non-watered-down playoff format, but right now they are the 6th seed, and they'd be staring down the Milwaukee Brewers in the first round for a Jim Dandy in Milwaukee if the playoffs started today. Shadow season. However, if I said the Cardinals' biggest star is, I think people would have a real tough time.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like Q rating wise or talent wise.
Or just somebody that people love who still might have that lovability, but isn't necessarily as great as they once were. See 2023 and Adam Wainwright as an example.
Right.
At 2022, they had a very good team, plus you had Yadier Molina and Albert Pujols.
Yeah.
2021, they had their winning streak, but you had all those players. You had faces, and you had, Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt more trending versus where they are in 2024. So with that all established, if we can agree on that being a factor for sports teams as businesses, what I would tell you is Brady Kachuk would bring that intangible to the table. It would give you a quote-unquote face of the franchise that I don't really know if either has one right now that gets people. I mean, you can identify people, don't get me wrong. It's not for lack of identity, but like somebody who go, okay, the St. Louis Blues, that is this person's team. The St. Louis Cardinals, that is this person's team. Oh, the Cardinals are coming to town if you're in another market. Oh, they're not very good. They're around 500, but they will be bringing X, Y, or Z. Right. You talked about the Pirates series that's taking place in the state of St. Louis this week.
Kutch.
But who'd you bring up?
Paul Skeens.
Right. And so that's kind of I think part of the arithmetic. I don't think they would do it just for that, to be clear. But I don't think it necessarily sets them off the plan.
I hear.
You know what I mean?
I get that. I think that's a respectful.
So it kind of excites me.
Yeah.
But it has been talked about for a while, and as the non-Ling Road, there hasn't been a whole lot of evidence. But at the same time, as he also writes, the Kachucks are not, like doing eye emojis on Twitter.
I wish they did.
Quote, oh, yes.
Breaking news.
It hasn't worked for them.
Breaking news. The St. Louis City SC has parted ways with Bradley Carnell.
Whoa!
Yep. Just announced moments ago.
How about that?
Bradley Carnell out following the 4-3 loss in Vancouver.
Now I'm asking here, and I'm doing this from a place of purity with those who are hardcore MLS fans. To me, in the NHL, more so than anywhere else, but you might say the NBA is worse, coaches get whacked, and it's just kind of one of those things that you do.
Yeah.
I gather the place with the most stability is the NFL, I guess. But, I mean, it's not like it's real stable. It's just like the least of the instability.
Probably Major League Baseball, no?
I don't know. It's one of those two. Either way, we would agree NHL, NBA, quicker turnover.
College football.
Well, how does MLS rank in that?
That's a good question.
And I because my truthfully, I have no idea on that.
No clue. No clue. I mean, they call it giving the manager the sack. That's what they like to say.
Like that?
Getting the sack. And, I mean, it happens all the time in Europe, but that would be, I think, more similar to what we get with the NHL, NBA, college football, where it's a much more revolving door. I don't know about the MLS, especially a brand-new MLS franchise, given how good they were last year, but they have been worse than middling this year. So I know some people, there was like a somewhat of an outcry for this for at least a couple weeks now, but to see it actually happen, again, following what happened last year in the first season, a little surprising, but I bet Matt Rocchio, who runs the board and is producer of The Opening Drive, who also hosts Soccer 101 podcast, has probably got himself plenty of opinions.
I just texted Taylor Twellman to see if he would be so kind to join us to get his perspective on this. So we'll see. We'll break right now. Bradley Carnell is out, and that just breaking as City had a 2-0 lead 16 minutes into the game in Vancouver. And then wound up losing 4-3, and it has been a debacle here in year 2. But my God, they were the story of MLS in year 1. So quite a situation here. I'll see if Taylor Twellman can join us. We'll get his perspective. Hopefully, I realize I'm hitting him up out of nowhere, so we will find out. Second half of Balloon Party coming your way. This is 101 ESPN. Munganess, St. Louis Acura, Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton Toyota. That's where both my car and my wife's car is right now, getting repaired, because that's where we go to do business, and we think the world of the people there at Munganess, St. Louis Acura, and Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton Toyota. Online at stlouisacura.com and altontoyota.com. They have a great deal for listeners of the program. And that is the following. It's a TMA loyal listener discount, but we bring it over to Balloon Party as well. $589 a month, no money down, and that gets you a 48-month lease of a 2024 Acura MDX Premium. That's at Munganess, St. Louis Acura, and Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton Toyota. Go online at stlouisacura.com and altontoyota.com. Plus, they set up a number for our listeners to call or text the people in charge at Munganess, so you can call or text and ask questions, make requests. 314-252-0029. That's 314-252-0029. stlouisacura.com, altontoyota.com.
is Action Jackson with a SportsCenter update, and that's driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Cardinals win yesterday 2-0 over the Cincinnati Reds, splitting the 4-game series with the division foes. Off day today, they'll head to Pittsburgh tomorrow to take on the Pirates. Kyle Gibson on the mound for the game on Tuesday. And just breaking news, St. Louis City SC and head coach Bradley Carnell have parted ways. Plenty more coming up on Bloom Party on that, and I assume the rest of 101 ESPN. Throughout the day, I'll be talking about Bradley Carnell out at St. Louis City SC. That was their SportsCenter update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Welcome back, Balloon Party 101 ESPN. As we just had at the end of our second segment, City has parted ways with head coach Bradley Carnell. Here is the release. Technical director John Hackworth will manage the team on an interim basis as City SC begins the search for a new head coach. Quote, given Bradley's many contributions to the club, this was not an easy decision. Said sporting director Lutz Pfannenstiel. Unfortunately, based on our year 2 results to date, we believe a coaching change is in the best interest of the club as we regroup and look to improve both our performance and our results. So there it is. The change has been made. Hackworth will assume the title of interim head coach. His background is close to 30 years of coaching experience at various levels, including 2 different assistant coaching assignments with the U.S. men's national team and head coaching positions with Philadelphia Union and USL's Louisville City FC, where he led the team to the 2018 USL Championship. So that is fresh news here this morning, just sent out at 10:31. It is 10:44 in St. Louis. This time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers. I posed the question from a place of sincerity to MLS fans, asking if this was commonplace. My guess was that it was, and that teams go through coaching changes quite often, and that is the constant from those who texted in. Gentleman going by the name of Andrew said Carnell was already like the 8th most tenured coach with a team in the MLS at his firing. It's a revolving door. So
Yeah, I think with the MLS in general and a lot of soccer, like you're playing really good and you're young, you go, the Europe team wants to sign you. You're a great coach. Maybe even the national squad or some other squad in a better league might come calling. So I feel like a revolving door makes sense. This kind of gets back to the question that I've thought of for a while, which is, how long does the honeymoon of a new franchise last, especially one like a soccer team, which there's been clamoring for a long time here in St. Louis. But now that they are, just not playing well at all, do you think the interest and engagement from fans will remain even if next year isn't any better, let's say? Yeah,
I do, but I've had people counter that by saying, look at the ticket market. The prices have dropped precipitously. Mm-hmm. But I may be wrong, so I want to make this clear. When it comes to, say, college football, for example, or golf, I know that my knowledge relative to the average TMA listener, 101 listener, is probably higher just because that's more where my passions follow, even if I, didn't do this for a living.
Sure.
When it comes to MLS, I'm just not as well versed.
Right, casual fan.
So my thought process is city games are an event. And yes, there are some people who are really invested in whether or not the team is good, but I think the team would have been successful from an attendance and a buzz standpoint last year, whether they were as good as they were or not.
Yeah.
At the same time, to play out the hand that you are proposing we play out, that if they have some struggles and these struggles have some duration, I suppose you can make the case that then that would lack interest. I just think that the product that they have there is so unique in the St. Louis sports scene that the game is, for I think the majority of people who go, not everybody, I want to make that clear, but I think the majority of people who go is more about the energy and not necessarily about whether or not the team is great.
Yeah. Yep.
In other words, I think the energy would have been similar. Certainly it was better last year because the team was so surprisingly good. I just think it was more about the excitement of having the team in year one, which I realize there's only 1 year one, but I think that scene and that energy carries over. I mean, you can watch plenty of games, whether it be EPL or otherwise, and the team is historically a doormat, but it's a source of pride for that city, town, neighborhood, depending on what we're talking.
Luton Town.
There you go. And so the energy is still.
Yeah. No,
You know what I mean?
I
And
totally
I think
understand.
that's a different thing.
Right.
I would compare it in a way to college football. I mean, I know Vanderbilt's a doormat, and it's also a different. I mean, it's such an outlier as a school in the SEC. So I feel like but like Mississippi State historically is garbage. But when you go there, you're going to hear cowbells.
Yeah.
The entire time, and it can be tough to win in Starkville. It's just.
Yeah.
I think it's more of an energy thing. Now in baseball, if the team's garbage, it's going to be empty.
Yeah.
And you're going to be hard pressed to find many exceptions to that.
Yeah,
You know?
I think that's interesting that you bring up baseball because I think soccer and college football in a way are different in the sense where, like, baseball, hockey, basketball, football, professional wise, like the goal is like winning the championship is that, like, that's it. Like winning it is all you can ever ask for. Whereas college football, like, it's pretty accepted that some teams just will not be there when it comes time to crown national champion. But you can find victories elsewhere, beating your rival, having an awesome game. Like if Mississippi State beats Ole Miss and they go nowhere and just playing the crummy bowl after that, but they beat Ole Miss, like that's their thing. Soccer, I feel like, has some similarities. Now, it also goes to my working theory that I think if St. Louis City had their druthers, they would flip this season last. Have the bad season right at the beginning.
Absolutely.
Where you get the energy no matter what. And then the second season, to build upon that, you have this awesome season where you're best in the West, top of the table. This way it's kind of happening, I think, and I think Bradley Carnell being fired is like the culmination of that.
From the 573, the City franchise is already a dumpster fire. Playoff collapse, lowest payroll in MLS, haven't won since early May, and now the coach is fired. That's from the 573.
I feel like we throw around the word dumpster fire too often.
What is a dumpster fire? Give me what is a dumpster fire.
Like the Oakland Athletics are a full-on dumpster fire.
I'll agree
That's a
with that.
full-on dumpster fire. They got nothing right now. They got nothing. That, to me, is a dumpster fire. A team going through a rough stretch or a bad year, I wouldn't necessarily say is a dumpster fire. But we're arguing semantics here.
But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I think the nature of sports radio and sports discourse in general is to overreact. But I think like a term like dumpster fire, much like I think the term GOAT, they're just overused.
I will respect that, and I shall agree with it, Jackson, as much as I want to disagree with you. Don Pepe has a bunch of people in the YouTube chat agreeing with him. I don't know what his take is, but all I see is agree, Pepe. I have to agree with Don Pepe. Kyle R., John Gray, and John Fitzgerald. Whatever Don Pepe said.
Qdoba's better than Chipotle.
Oh, okay. Well, sometimes the YouTube chat's its own show, and I like that.
I agree.
It's parallel. You agree with that take?
Well, story for another time.
Oh, wow. All right. Maybe preview tomorrow's Little Piddles Tuesday, half and half.
Oh, no. Tomorrow might be, I don't know. I've been toying around with some like Wu-Tang Clan ones.
Okay.
Like Wu Piddle. And then I don't know if I should be
Wu Piddle Suey?
If I should be the Pizza or Paleface Killa.
I mean, what you're bringing to the table right now is straight heat.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, one segment left for Jackson to carry this momentum over.
I'm thinking the Pizza. I feel like that's
where it's going to be tomorrow.
I like that.
We'll take a break, come back with the final segment of Balloon Party. This is 101 ESPN. It's unbelievable, but James Carlton, my insurance agent, is now up to 376 five-star reviews, including this one saying, been with State Farm for decades, but the agent was retiring, so we chose James Carlton as our new agent. After one meeting, instantly enjoyed the service and found savings as well. Great conversation and great people in that office. That's James Carlton's office, which is in Webster Groves, right here in the St. Louis area. You don't have to be a Webster resident in order to work with James Carlton. I personally made the switch to James 5+ years ago and so happy that we did. Can't say enough positive things about my experience with James Carlton and his staff. at the Carlton State Farm Insurance Agency. 314-961-4800 or go online at carltoninsurance.net. 376 five-star reviews for the kind of customer service you get from James Carlton and their ability to look to save you money and pull it off. carltoninsurance.net, 314-961-4800. If your insurance costs a leg and an arm, call James Carlton, State Farm. Welcome back to Bloom Party 101 ESPN, 1055 in St. Louis. BK and Ferrario coming your way here in a matter of 5 minutes. Tim McKernan, Jackson Burkett with you on the program. Jackson, we didn't get to all. We have breaking news left and right on the show. Bradley Carnell out with City SC. John Hackworth, now the interim. Kasperi Kapanen, which Jackson Burkett accidentally broke on TMA today.
I guess.
I mean, I don't know where that came from.
So what happened? So they've re-signed him?
Yeah.
Okay. Good to have.
But you broke the story somehow.
Yeah, well, it's scoops. Sometimes you just fall into scoops. That's what they don't teach you in journalism school, is that you just keep saying names enough and you'll get it right.
It was so strange.
Yeah. It's like,
I don't think you've ever said the name Kasperi Kapanen. And then out of nowhere today at 9 o'clock you did, and I'm going, oh, is there some Kasperi Kapanen news? I was just the idea. And then at 10:15, Jeremy Rutherford tweeted out about it. And it's like, I guess you tipped him off.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like him to kind of give you the hat tip As
Casperry
Jackson
or
Burkett
JR?
first reported, JR.
Yeah.
As Jackson Burkett first reported.
Oh, JR, please do that. That'd be because also, who signed today is Jake Gunsel. He signed 7 years with the Lightning.
Ning season.
Yeah, and my picture, of course, is Jake Gunsel on Twitter.
You are becoming Mr. Hockey.
Right, so that would be great if JR could actually credit me. That'd be really sweet. Like it will do not like that won't it does nothing for him. Like he won't like lose anything, but it could net me so much.
Yeah.
Like hockey insider piddles. Take that, Rivers. Well, you know about Kapanen, the
God, I hope
Casperry
he's here.
version.
He's going to walk in here and throw you up against. All right, what's your best question remaining? Because we have breaking news.
I have a really good question, but it's so long, and I think it will lead to such a conversation, and it's 10:57. So I feel wrong.
All right, save it. Put it in your pocket for Wu-Tang Piddles.
Yeah, that's right. Someone texted in old dirty piddles might be better. And I just think the pizza has a lot of, or paleface killer. I think both could work. I don't like that question. I got this, just real quick. Do you anticipate Pavel Buchnevich signing an extension today?
Wow, look at you.
Yeah.
I mean, what is going on here?
I read the Post
I'm just
Dispatch.
frozen by breaking balls. David Perron headline.
Yeah, 36 years young.
Go there.
DP 5'7". Because there's thoughts they might trade him on night one of the draft.
Yeah. God. Oh, here's my. I'm just going to be honest.
I like when you're honest.
My honest answer is I have zero read. So anything I say, it's like if I happen to be right, it'd be a stumbling into it. And if I happen to be wrong, it wouldn't be like, oh, my information was wrong. It's like heads or tails. Okay, I honestly don't know. I'm not. I mean, I kind of wish they wouldn't. Nothing against him.
Sure.
I just don't feel like it's. I'm so at peace with organizations keeping a pace of a plan. And I don't know if that necessarily makes sense for where the Blues are. But at the same time, here I am saying I'd love to see him bring in Brady Tkachuk. So it's kind of counter messages.
But I think there's differences between someone like Buchnevich and Brady Tkachuk.
There are, because you got the Q rating factor.
Yeah, and the face of the franchise thing that I think is important. And I don't think we've had a face of the franchise since Waino
All
retired.
of 10 months ago.
Right, but I mean, I think but neither for the Blues and not really either for City.
Well, who was the face of the franchise in 2023 for the Blues?
Benner?
See, I would say O'Reilly. Now, I know he got traded, but I mean, he's Conn Smythe winner,
Oh, yeah, that was 23. I was thinking 22.
Yeah, I mean, I realize he got traded in early 23, but the point being, both franchises aren't that far removed. You are just in a weird spot that neither one really has. I mean, don't get me wrong. You can name players who either, like Mason Wynn, could be, thought Jordan Walker would be. I suppose it still could happen. It's not really looking particularly likely at the moment. And Mason Wynn, that is certainly encouraging. Maybe that can happen, but I don't think around the country people would go, the Cardinals, Mason Wynn. Can't wait.
Jose Fermin.
Jose Fermin certainly is live.
He's circling.
He's circling.
Graceffo, he got 4 1/3.
He did good out there.
And then sent right back to Memphis.
That's right. Need pitching depth. BK and Ferrario coming up next. Jackson Burkett and I will be back tomorrow with Wu-Tang Piddles for Jackson Bennett Burkett. I'm Tim McKernan. This has been Balloon Party on 101 ESPN.